This blanket of snow came from increased moisture in the air. According to forecasters, it was fed by a band of southerly winds that picked up water vapor from the warm Gulf Stream. This clashed with cooler Arctic air, common this time of year. It was an isolated weather event, says Wayne Higgins, who heads the climate program for the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration in Washington.
You cannot link an individual extreme event, such as a northeast snowstorm, such as a cold air outbreak, such as a severe weather outbreak, to global warming.
There's just not enough data yet to make that connection, Higgins says. Instead, to see the effect of global climate change, you look for patterns, historic records and projections that detail the number, frequency, and intensity of extreme events that relate to temperature.
So where we've looked forward decades and even out to a century, and using those climate models with scenarios in which we actually ramp up the levels of greenhouse gases, we are able to confirm that human-induced climate change is something that is occurring now and that actually is likely to continue in the future.
Higgins says scientists are beginning to relate those patterns to extreme weather events like heat waves in Europe, heavy rainfall in Asia, and drought in California, which is the worst in a quarter century. Resident Eric Grady there is doing his part to conserve water.
We take shorter showers and we don't do as much dishes or laundry as much anymore.
And as we go forward in time, if we continue to project that there'll be continuing or increasing numbers of droughts in that region, you can see that we have quite a risk to the water supply.
The global warming trend is tied to the rise in carbon dioxide from the coal we burn, the electricity we use, and the cars we drive. Those gases are warming the planet. Higgins says the extremes we see today are a sign that more frequent and more intense rainfall, drought, and heat waves are on the way.
As we see increasing trends in these meteorological and hydrological extremes, as a society, we really need to think about how we're going to manage the risk, how we're going to adapt to these changes in extremes.
Higgins says global warming is happening now. The extremes describe a new normal, where resources for life, the water we drink, and the food we eat are at stake. Rosanne, Skirble, VOA News, Washington.